How often should couples have sex? Married couples.
I think that depends on the couple. Honestly, I will say, for me, I personally, I don't even know if you think this, but I personally keep it like an every other day thing for me, because I like to keep sex like in a rhythm. I know I don't want to go more than like 2 days without sex. Me personally, in my mind, I just keep it that like, I know that if I didn't have sex yesterday, if we didn't do that yesterday, well then I know today, okay, let me start to get ready. But then even like, let's say something happens and we don't do it today. I know the next day it's like, okay, just in my mind, I'm just keeping track, just little in my mind that like by the third day, okay, we have to really make time to do this.
I think that's very good, and I think you just blew somebody's wig off their head.
I'm just saying that is not for everyone, but for me, it's real easy for me to know. Okay, did I have sex yesterday? No, I didn't. Yeah. Okay, let me go. Let me make sure I do this today.
Okay, listen. So they define a sexless marriage as having sex less than 10 times a year.
That would be
about
blows
one
my
time
mind.
a month. Okay. Now, there's some people that's like 12. They do it once a month or once every other week. And your answer is good. It's politically correct. Oh, we don't know. And it's true. Every couple has to determine their own sex rhythms. But I feel like if you're not having sex at least once a week, you really need to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? And so if I was to give you like straight up, we're sitting at Starbucks and I'm not going to be judged and stuff like that. I would tell you, you ask your spouse, how often would you like to have sex? Okay, you get a number from them. If they say every day, every other day, and then I said once a week, okay, what I would do is I would try to submit to the person who's wants to do it the most, or at least talk about meeting it halfway, okay? So if I'm at 7 days and you're at every other day, I would say, sweetheart, well, how's every 3 or 4 days? But these big gaps between you want to do it once a month and you want to do it it's killing people's marriages because they haven't submitted to not deprive each other. And when we say it's not a duty, this is what I got to do, this is what we get to do. You got to come to the place where you enjoy this
But I don't get
moment.
it, babe, because listen, if you said, okay, how often do you want to eat chocolate cake? Let's say chocolate cake is like the best dessert.
And
just
it's
pick
not bad for you.
Chocolate
cool.
cake, apple pie,
Whatever
whatever. How often do you want to eat that?
I want to eat it 3 times a day.
I do. I mean, like, seriously.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Seriously.
It's great.
So I don't get the correlation between you.
People are having bad sex.
The greatest pleasure known to mankind, the greatest physical pleasure known to man. There are industries and billions of dollars being made on the greatest pleasure.
This pleasure.
A lot of evil being done.
Y'all, please help us out because we don't understand. Please put it in the comments.
Why would you want, you know what I mean?
Yeah, why would you want?
And I'm challenging myself as well because look, I mean, why don't we want to do it 3 times a day? You know what I mean? Like we eat 3 times a day.
We finished the 7-day sex
We
explosion.
did. We took the 7-day challenge.
The 7-day challenge. That's sex every day for 7 days. We challenge you to do that. Yes, I was tired by day 4 and 5 and 6, but I pushed through. Praise God.
But it helps challenge your thinking, and it helps you like, well, I don't know. I just think it's That's my question.
Yeah. Anyway, here's another question. If someone says my libido has changed, what should I do? What would be your answer?
I would say get it checked out physically, medically by a doctor. Make sure everything's okay in your body. I mean, health is the number one thing that can probably just make your sex life go really down the hill. Right. But just make sure that you're okay and health-wise, and then find out what you need to do to get it back up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes I go to the doctor and sometimes they've been like, okay, well, your thyroid's low, or you need more progesterone.
Which means that you're just hormonal. Yeah, your hormones are not imbalanced.
Because as we grow older and things like that, stuff changes. When we have babies, things change. So that's normal, but figure it out.
Figure it out.
Just figure it out. Trial and error. Ask people.
Has your libido changed over the years?
Definitely. Okay. Definitely. It's been up and down through having babies, and then also through menopause. I mean, definitely.
So right now, in comparison to what it's been, you would say it's low, average, or high?
I would say it's lower now than it's ever been. Yeah, coming through menopause, definitely.
And so when it comes to sex, like let's say last night, it's something that you're like, even though you have a libido, you're pushing through. What would be your advice to the woman that's like, listen, I got low libido, but somehow we still have a rhythm, even though it's the worst that it's ever been. Talk to me.
It's like, I don't know. I guess I understand what it I understand what sex means to me and to my marriage. It's very important to me. It's like very high. I mean, it's very important to me. And so it doesn't matter like if I guess I don't have to be in the mood. You know, I don't have to be like 100% on fire and like, yay, I want to do this. I just have to be like a little bit like, hey.
So can I ask you a question? So if you have low libido and maybe you're not in the mood completely, but when you start having sex, do you get more in the mood?
Totally.
Okay. So you don't give me the sloppy fish, like, you know, where it's just like, it's a floppy fish body. It feels like you're in the mood.
Yeah.
But you're doing that by faith. You're intentional. And as you go by faith, God is giving you more on your way than before you start. Well, some woman needs to hear that. Men need to hear
I mean,
that.
it's always, it turns out, I mean, again, it's like the
Right.
piece of chocolate cake. I'm not hungry at all, but you just sat down next to me with a piece of cake. Well, I'll just take a little bite of it. You know, I'm not really that hungry, but let me take a bite. It's good. You eat it.
That cake gone. I'm turning that whole cake. I'm rocking that cake's world.
That's what happens every single time. I mean, I just don't have another way to explain it.
Someone says, I have vaginal dryness. What should I do? What would be your answer?
Figure it out. You know, I agree. I totally understand where you're coming from. I have it too. You know, I'm a woman, and at some point in every woman's life, you're going to get it. And so figure out different lubricants. I use 100% extra virgin coconut oil. It works for me.
I didn't say olive oil.
You'll find.
Okay, coconut oil.
You'll find, you know, whatever works for you, but ask people who you trust. Ask your girlfriends, ask your mom, you know, what works for you. Maybe the same thing will work for you. These are, you know, some people say, well, I want to ask my mom about, I mean, it's okay. It's, you know, this is grown up stuff.
It's grown up stuff.
But anyway, just figure it out. There's a solution.
What about this question? I'm not attracted to him anymore. What should I do?
Make yourself attracted to him again.
Talk to me about that. Can I do that? I mean, he gained weight. He ashy. You know, his breath is not right. I mean, what do you do here? What do you mean not attractive? Okay, let's not say that. Okay, because guys, let me talk to you men for a minute. You
Tell
need to
them,
take care of
baby.
your body. Okay, you need listen.
Tell them to go
you gotta
get a
take care of
mani
your body.
pedi.
Go get your manicure, pedicure. Put some lotion on. Okay, smell good. Okay, make sure your breath is fresh too. That's a big thing. You got to make sure your breath is fresh. Get some breath strips. Get some mints. Get some Banaka. Get whatever you got to get. I mean, like set the mood here. But I really believe that, man, you need to take care of yourself. Okay, and be presentable. Don't have oil all under your nails and all that kind of stuff. I mean, take care of yourself. You ain't got to be like, you don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars and, you know, get highlights and do all kinds of stuff, but you need to take care of yourself. But anyway, but let's just assume it's not that.
Okay,
it's just
yeah.
I'm just not attracted to him like that anymore. What should I do?
I think that, you know, I've found for myself and for a lot of other women, attraction just comes, it's more of a mental thing with us and an emotional thing with us. And so typically, you know, more than likely, he's still the same guy. And he might have gained a little weight or lost a little weight or whatever, but he's still the same guy that you married. What attracted you to him in the first place,
Right.
you know? And so I think those are some of the things that I practice even now. Like they are intentional things. Like, I don't know, in your mind, complimenting him. Like, oh, I mean, take the time to like look at him. Take the time to enjoy what he looks like. Check out his body. Take the time to listen to his voice. Like I will listen to my husband's voice like, wow, you're such a man. You know, like, whoa, you're so manly. I look at like his beard and stuff like, I'm like, whoa, that's like a manly man. Those things make me attracted to him. So I don't know. I can't say, you know, what attracts you to your spouse, but think about those things that made you attracted to him in the first place.
That's the key. Something attracted you to this person for you to say, I do.
Yeah.
Now you might need some counseling to figure out where your mind has now become critical.
Well,
and
sometimes
judgmental
we overlook
and
the
compare.
things that we like into the things that we don't like, and we magnify the things that we don't like.
And they overrun all those things.
When we first got married, we magnified the things that we did like and minimized the things that we didn't like, and we
That's
just
a
have
word.
to reverse that again.
Here's one more. What should I do when I'm not in the mood but my spouse is?
I would say, for me personally, just do it anyway. I'd say do it anyway. There's a lot of times when I'm not in the mood. Now, again, I'm not saying like, okay, it's that time of the month for you, or you just got out of surgery, or you're all contagious and coughing and sneezing. And I'm not saying all of that stuff. Okay. I'm just saying it's a normal day and you don't feel like it, but they do. Just do it anyway.
Okay.
It's going to be, what's the worst case is you like it. I mean, like, it's not like, you know.
Well, the worst case is that they like it. But you might like it. But I would say this. Here's the principle that I think we've lived by, is that it only takes one person to be in the mood for us to
Yeah.
have sex.
Yeah.
And I think that's where many people are missing it, because they feel like they need to be in the mood.
Yeah.
And for both people to be in the mood, you got to go to Netflix and watch a movie, because much of that is acting.
Yeah.
Because most of the time in the marriage, like we've been married 25
Yep.
years, it's like two ships passing in the night. For us both to be in the mood at the same time, it has to be like an anniversary. It has to be something. Typically, it's one of us instigating and the other one saying, okay, that's what you want, but I'm going to get in the mood as
Yep.
well. But I never deny you. If you want some, here I am. And you always treat me that way. If I want some, there's no denying. Now, I'm not a fool. I know that if you're coughing and don't feel good, if you had a long day, I might say it, and I can tell by the way, okay, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, here's the principle. Only one person needs to be in the mood for sex to happen in a marriage.
And I think going back to the scripture, that's what the Bible is talking about, when the husband should not deny the wife and the wife should not deny the husband. What that means is that wife is in the mood, husband, don't deny her.
Yeah.
That's just what it's talking about. And so I think, that's like a great deception, I think, when it comes to sex, that you have to be in the mood to want to do it. Well, I don't feel like it. I have a headache. And largely on the part of a woman.
Yeah.
It's what we've been trained. Everyone has seen the movies where the woman's sitting there reading and then the husband comes on and she turns off the light and rolls over. You know what I mean? Like faking like she's asleep or faking like she has a headache.
But why?
I mean, it's just been like embedded in our brains.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh
you don't know what this life is to live, man.
It's just, but the funny thing is that, so that's how we portray the married couple. But the people that aren't married, their clothes are off by the time they hit the door.
I mean, they just orgasm walking to the bed. like what is this? Like,
so we have been brainwashed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's really
like
it is an attack on marriages.
Go home to my ball
yes,
and chain.
Please don't ever call me your old
And
lady.
she's
I will
sitting around in a
never be
flannel.
your old lady.
Like,
okay? I am your wife. Fearfully and wonderfully made.
Here's the deal. So only one person needs to be in the mood to spark this
right.
thing. And you gotta accept that. So you're not in the mood. So what? Let's get there. Okay. Here's the second principle that I would add to that. Is that if you ever reject your spouse, like, I don't want to do it tonight, within 24 hours, you need to initiate it.
I like that.
Your rejection has to turn into an initiation.
Okay.
Listen to this. Because if not, if you reject your spouse, in which we don't believe in, but let's say that it's something and you did it. Okay, you rejected it. Okay. Or let's say that it wasn't really a rejection. It was like they were kind of playing around and you was like, nah, and they kind of backed up. Like we'll do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, I really want to. It's like, I can just tell.
Yeah.
It's your job within 24 hours to initiate it, because you got to understand that was rejection.
Yeah.
That person has been sexually rejected. Do you know the boldness that it would take for me to come back again? Like you said, no tonight. Well, why I want to come back in 12 hours and be like, hey, is it good now?
Yeah.
No, it's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
If you've said no, when that person was ready to initiate sex between a husband and a wife, within 24 hours, you should come back and say, okay, sweetheart, let's do that. That principle right there will save so much heartache.
Really, I think we've both been there in marriage over the years where you've been rejected 1, 2, 3 times in a row.
I'm done.
And then we're in a family meeting and I'm just like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Because it hurts. And I've been there too, where I've been rejected like, oh, snap, you know. And now I'm feeling maybe I'm not attracted. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe you're something. And none of that's true. It's just whatever's going on in your life is going on in your life. There's no communication or whatever. Right. But I love that principle. It's just like, we have to remember that even if you've been married for 100 years, your spouse is still a person. They're still a human being.
Yeah.
And sex is the most intimate thing that we do together. It's the most vulnerable thing that we do together. And we're still people and want to be treated nicely. No one wants to be rejected.
Listen, if you are a man and you have an erection and you're horny and you want to be with your wife, and she says no, you are sitting over there like a puppy with your tail between your legs, feeling like you just got hit by a bat.
I personally hate to think that my husband would feel that way.
It's horrible.
Yeah, I know. I know, baby.
It's not. So let me take you to another level. Initiating sex should be a husband and a wife thing.
Yes.
It should not be the man's always initiating sex. And it should not be the wife is always initiating sex. It should be a lot more balanced. I'm not saying like it always has to be 50-50, but initiating sex should be a two-way street. That sometimes you initiate, sometimes I initiate. And one of the things that is a very common thread that I hear with many men is that they feel like they're the only ones always initiating, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I agree. I learned that too just through maybe doing podcasts and doing marriage counseling through all of the years. And I've heard that. And because I've heard it from you first, and we would talk about it in family meetings. But then other men, when we have question and answer time, someone, no doubt, is going to grab the microphone and ask that question.
Yeah.
That question is going to be asked. Why do I always have to initiate?
Sex? And the other man be like, yeah, why is that?
The crowd goes wild.
Oh, man.
But it's easy, for wives to initiate. For me, I think I just get used to you kind of like, coming around, and I like it. And so it's nothing, no offense to you, but it's just like, I like it. So whatever. But I have made it a point to initiate, there's certain times and things that I plan, maybe like a Valentine's Day or a Ken's night or or just something that I just try to just plan little things here and there that just make it intentional.
So 24 years of marriage, I want to give you what we're calling 7 keys to saving a sexless marriage. 7 keys. Here we go. This is time you all have been waiting on. Get out your note takers. Stop your cars, record this, do whatever you got to do. 7 keys to saving a sexless marriage. Number 1 is that you got to get God's perspective on sex. Okay, there's 3 main reasons for sex. Of course, number 1 is procreation, to be fruitful and multiply, to have kids. Number 2 is enjoyment between husband and wife. I know that there are some very, very religious sectors that feel like sex is only to have babies, but you have to read the Song of Solomon and understand that he gives us richly all things, including sex, to enjoy. And number 3 is intimacy between husband and wife. Those are the 3 main reasons of why God created sex, and we need to embrace all 3 of those.
That's good.
And so you got to get God's perspective on sex. Sex between husband and wife is pure, it's holy, and it's godly.
Yes.
Okay. And you have to get that into your renewed mind and into your spirit. Anything on that?
I think that there are some women and some men that have to go back in their past and deal with the reason why maybe you don't want to be naked in front of your spouse. Maybe the reason why you hold back and you don't want to do this or that. If you cannot be completely 100% free and liberated in the sexual relationship with your spouse, I would challenge you to maybe see a counselor and get pastoral, get some type of pastoral guidance and counseling as well, so that you can break those chains, you can come out of bondage and be free in that area.
So good.
And it is possible. I've done it.
Amen. Number 2, 7 keys to saving a sexless marriage is that you need to talk about your sex life. Where are you? Where you want to be? Open up and communicate and talk about your feelings and the rhythms that you would like. This is huge because many people are not communicating where they really are in their sex life. So we do a family meeting at least every other week, and one of our things on the topic, and we have a family meeting outline that we've put out to everybody, and of course it's also in our Better Marriage Boot Camp, is we talk about calendar, we talk about finances, and we talk about sex. Baby, what do you like that I do? Sweetheart, what do you want more of or less of? And it's very important that you open up and you express what your sexual frustrations, your sexual appetite, what you would like to do, and you guys talk about it. Yeah. Anything on that?
I think that's hard. It's difficult to do, especially if your marriage isn't, especially if your your sex relationship isn't like good. It's hard at first to talk about it, but it still must be talked about. The more you talk about it, the easier it will get. And so I just want to set the expectations up front. It's like, it'll be uncomfortable. But because you're being vulnerable and you're, saying certain things, but
100%.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's gonna be real uncomfortable.
We felt
It's okay.
uncomfortable, but you'll get through it. Keep on having the
And you'll get better.
conversations and you'll get better and it'll be all good.
Number 3, try to go to bed at the same time. I think that there's a lot of people that are falling asleep on the couch or falling asleep in different rooms. The woman goes to bed at 7 p.m., the man comes to bed at 11 p.m., and there are 2 ships passing in the night. And I think that we've learned that we kind of go to bed at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm a late person. I'm more of an 11 o'clock person, and she's the 7 o'clock person.
Yep.
But when she goes into the bed, I'm usually there by 7:30 or 8. I'm trying to catch her before she goes to sleep. And I think it's important to go to bed at the same time.
Definitely. I think it is. And, you can make as far as bedtime goes, I think we've evolved through the years. But yeah, I'm early to go to bed, early to rise. You're late to go to bed, early to rise. You just need less sleep than me. But we make sure that we're in the bedroom at the same time. And therefore I go to sleep. I do things like I put in earplugs. I'll put on a eye mask, and I will pass out, and you'll be over there reading, or doing whatever you do. But we are in the bed at the same time. So whatever your rhythm is or your schedule is, whether you're early to bed or late to bed, I think you can make it work.
Yeah, yeah. Here's number 4. Touch each other often. Not just sexual, but loving touches. I think there are some couples that they only touch when it's sex time, and that's not enough touches.
Yeah.
And so it's a kiss good morning. It's a kiss before you leave for work today. It's a kiss when you come home. There's a tap on the booty. There's a caress of the arm. There's a holding of hands. Is that important to you? And if so, why?
I think it is. Well, I mean, touch is kind of it ranks high in my love language. And so I like that feeling of touch. I even go and I touch my kids, but just because I'm a nerd, there was a study done like scientifically, there's things that happen whenever you touch each other, whenever you even come close to each other, there's things that happen. There's like energy exchange and certain things that happen, like endorphins that happen whenever we touch one another. And so it's actually, I mean, it's just good. It's good to touch one another. And then to not feel like strangers, like no other man is touching me. You know what I mean? No other woman is touching you. Like I think I don't know. I personally want to be touched by my husband. It's a privilege, like if my body, everything, I am your gift, and I want you to feel invited to do that. But then also as a man, I would tell wives, like, I think it's a misunderstanding that men don't need touch or they don't need caressed or anything like that. I would encourage you to just pour your love out on him. Again, read the Song of Solomon and treat him like, let him be touched, touch his face, touch his beard, touch his body, because there's intimacy in that. There's more, I can't even describe the things that happen in that, but there's a closeness there that touch is only what husband and wife can do with each other. So I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but I think it's a big deal. Just try it.
Okay. Number 5 will be plan sex in if you must, and make it an important part of your relationship rhythm. I think sometimes we just look for organic sex, and organic sex is good. I think you can have sex and it just be like spur of the moment kind of things. But if you're in a sexless marriage, it needs to be another step towards intentionality. And so if you're in a sexless marriage where you're not having sex enough, one sure way to make sure that you're having sex is to put it in your calendar. And so our sex nights will be every Friday night. Our sex nights will be every Monday and Wednesday. Our sex night will be Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I think if you sit down in your family meeting, one thing that you can do is to actually schedule it in to where everybody knows that this is what's going to happen tonight or in the morning, whenever it's good for you, lunchtime. We don't care. It's just plan it in. Number 6 would be takes turns initiating sex. And we talked about that just a little bit. And so we don't want initiation just to be a man thing. If you're in a sexless marriage, woman of God, start to initiate it. Man of God, you start to initiate it. If you've been dealing with erectile dysfunction or some kind of other medical issue, you need to start celebrating even the small wins. Celebrate that you took a shower together. Celebrate, like, just because there is a medical issue going on, don't allow intimacy to completely crash in your relationship. Fight this thing. Go to doctors, take your medicine, do whatever you got to do to get yourself to the place where it's the intimacy that we're after. It's not just the physical part. It's the intimacy that we're after. And point number 7, last but not least, 7 points to saving a sexless marriage would be only one person needs to be in the mood. And we talked about that.
That's a great point.
And that's the great point right there. And so stop waiting to be in the mood, because it is a fallacy. All right. Many times we have sex and we're not in the mood when we start, but we get in the mood. And we're like, thank God we did this. I don't know what we were thinking, And so those are our 7 practical keys to saving a sexless marriage.